Yes, excited about heading to Atlanta and competing in the SEC tournament, coming off a hard-fought win, which hopefully will give our guys some life moving forward.
First up, we have Bob Holt from the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, Andy, how you doing?
Hey, good morning, Bob.
Yeah, if you saw that Arkansas-Alabama score, or when you did, were you wondering where that Arkansas team was Wednesday night?
You know, it's so funny, and we're all living on this slippery slope. We played about as poorly as I've ever seen a team from my vantage point play against a team who played about as well as they could possibly play in Arkansas. And then, you know, the both scripts got flipped. I did not see. All I saw was the final score, but was not surprised so much that Alabama won because Alabama's a good basketball team and it's hard to win on the road. But when I saw the score, I was a little surprised because of how well Arkansas had been playing, and then as poorly as we played, we were able to bounce back and grind out a hard home win. So it kind of speaks to my theory. I don't really believe in game-to-game momentum. I believe in in-game momentum, but I believe each game has a life in and of itself, and you got to be prepared as such.
Yeah, I haven't seen Arkansas. I'm sure you studied them a lot down the stretch. Just, you know, how well do you think they played overall the second half of the season? You know, that Alabama game aside, how dangerous a team could they be in Atlanta?
Oh, I think very dangerous, Bob. I think everybody in the league would say that. They've got a lot of pieces. They've got quality of depth. They've got inside players. They've got a plethora of guards. And when they make shots, like I saw up close and personal, they're a very, very dangerous team.
Matthew Harris of The Advocate.
Good morning, Andy. How are you?
Good morning.
I'm kind of writing about, you know, teams trying to get on a roll, particularly lower season. And I know 2 years ago you guys entered as number 7 seed in New Orleans and kind of got to the semis there. And my question is just, can you sense from a team going into a tournament that a run may be likely, or is it one of those deals that they get to the gym that first day and there's a moment in that opening game that sort of lets you know they may be locked in, there may be something sort of imminent coming?
Well, I think, you know, most everyone, especially when you've got a lot on the line, you would hope that your players would go into it with a sense of urgency that, you know, the next loss could be your last game. And so with that, when you have an upperclassman led team, I've only got one senior. I know he'll be playing with a sense of urgency, but when you've got a number of different guys who have that sense of urgency, then if you make plays, special things can happen. We were certainly a part of that last year. I had 3 prominent members of our team that were seniors, and they were playing with that senior sense of urgency, and we were able to get a last-second win in Game 1, and we had a feeling of relief but also excitement about the potential that the next day held, and that's what you can experience sometime in tournament play.
How do you balance that out? I know you guys and players are creatures of habit. You guys, you know, preach, you know, keeping things sort of in the same routine every day, but how do you sort of, till the earth to get ready for that and, you know, make a run like that possible? Is there anything you can do to sort of set the conditions for that, you know, going into a building?
Well, I think heading into the tournament, you try to keep your routine the same. As you said, you know, we've been doing this now for a number of months, and you try to stay on the same routine. And then once you get in that tournament setting, there's always electricity in the building. The SEC does an outstanding job of creating an electric atmosphere. And guys get excited about that, and if you can get through that first game, then I think guys really are really on edge as it relates to the opportunity that's in front of them.
Understand. Thanks so much.
Tim Tucker, the AJC.
Hey, Andy.
Hey.
With this, the last SEC tournament that will be played in the Georgia Dome, which is being torn down in 3 years, what are your thoughts about how the building has served as a site for the tournament, and about the decision to move to Nashville semi-permanently next year?
Well, I think that Atlanta does a great job of hosting the tournament. The Dome, you know, I guess when they decided to make the decision to go into the Dome a few years ago, this is my 8th tournament, and I think my first was in that building. That was when I think the Final Four was going to a lot of Dome venues, and I think that was the thinking behind it. But as I just said, I think the SEC does a great job, even in a Dome setting, of creating an intimate environment in which our fans and our players can enjoy being a part of a tournament such as this. You know, for then the decision to be made for it to be moved permanently, I guess maybe the next 10 years or so into Nashville, I'm sure that was a business decision, and I've got the utmost respect for the people who make those decisions. Obviously, Nashville was good to us last year, and it's an SEC town that really supports the tournament as well. So, based on I guess the tornado that hit there a few years ago, we were part of that. The Dome will always go down in the history of SEC tournament basketball as a place that is full of a lot of memories.
Thank you.
Next is Mark Weiser, the Athens Banner-Herald.
Hey, Andy, you played Georgia about 3 weeks ago. What do you make of what they ended up doing in league play, and how much of a threat are they this weekend, you think?
Well, I think Mark and his staff did an outstanding job of getting that team to understand who they were. I think they were 6-6 in the non-league, and when you do that, and not many people were giving them much hope of moving up the standings once they got into league play. Credit to Mark and his staff. They looked in the mirror and they made the necessary adjustments as to who they were and their best chance to be successful. And they maximized that by having an outstanding run in our league. They're playing as well as anybody with a hard-fought win at LSU on the last game. I'm sure they're playing with a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence. Them being in their home state, I'm sure there'll be a lot of Bulldogs in the building. So, last year we came in kind of in a similar mode where we were tied for second. We get the third seed via a tiebreaker, and then we were able to make our run. So Georgia's in a great position.
Thanks.
Gary Tipton, Lexington Herald.
Andy, at this stage of a long season, how much does any coach try to instill happy thoughts, positive thoughts, turn anything that's going on into something that's really good for the team?
Well, I think I'm like most every coach, Jerry, and we split the season up into a number of different quarters to go back to our high school days, and now we're in the fourth quarter. This is postseason. And this is the epitome of March Madness, which created this mindset of anything can happen. We lived that last year where we were able to go and have a magical run. So that's still fresh on the thoughts of our players' minds, and we realize that the task is going to be a daunting one, but at the same time, all coaches try to turn the page and say, hey, we're all starting here anew, and there's a lot to play for heading into Atlanta.
Thanks.
Yeah, Bob Holt, the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Andy, Arkansas hadn't won an SEC tournament game since they won a couple back in 2008. Is that kind of hard to believe that it's been 5 years since they won?
I obviously I've never heard that stat until you just said it, Bob. It is a little bit shocking, but as I said, when we were preparing for our game going into Fayetteville, even though we'd had a lot of success in Bud Walton, that really has nothing to do with this team and this tournament and this opportunity. Again, Arkansas is playing as well as most anybody in our league, with the exception of Florida, who has shown no chinks in their armor to this point. And because of their quality of depth and because of their style of play, I think they've got a lot of momentum heading into Atlanta.